Hi guys, it's ALCHEMY. How's everyone doing? Good. I hope. I'm smiling. I hope you're doing good. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 currently super hyped fragrances. This is not something that I usually do. You know, I kind of pride myself on the fact that I march to the beat of my own drum. I don't really talk about hype fragrances, mainly a couple of times in the past. But today, I'm going to flip that script on its head. And I'm going to talk about 5 fragrances that are all over multiple social media platforms. Talk to you about them, sniff them, give you my opinions. Is it worth it? What do you think about them? Do you have them? All that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's just do it, okay? So the first one I'm going to talk about is the phenomenon, the superstar, the thing that has taken TikTok and whatever else by storm, and it is Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana. You might be sick of hearing about this fragrance by now, but you haven't heard what I'm going to say about it, have you? Yeah, this one is, I mean, a sensation. This is a very young brand. Giardini di Toscana only launched last year, 2023, and already this perfume has become cray-cray. People are going crazy about it. If you don't know about this fragrance at all, if you're not on many social media platforms and maybe you've just been hiding under a rock, then this is a vanilla perfume. And the first thing I want to tell you about this vanilla perfume is, I do not wear vanillas. I've always said, you might have heard me before, I'll take tonka over vanilla any day. Well, why do I find that this perfume is suddenly in my collection? I tried it 7 or 8 times and I just couldn't resist it anymore. It is the vanilla that has turned my head. So I guess I've kind of answered my own question. Is it worth the hype? Yes. And here are the reasons why. Have Giardini di Toscana revolutionized a vanilla perfume? No. Have they done something that we maybe haven't smelt before? No. But have they executed it so perfectly I could cry? Yes. The notes of this perfume, vanilla, of course. It has a lot of coumarin in here, and going back to me saying I would take coumarin over vanilla any day. Coumarin is the main constituent, it's the main aromatic compound, it's the main reason for tonka smelling like tonka. It's also in curing hay, it's also in lavender as well. This is a huge vanilla tonka perfume. They list honey as well, but I don't really smell honey in it. It's really about a vanilla tonka with a lot of musk as well. And it's a milky perfume, of course. It's called Latte. Nothing coffee about it, but the creamiest, most gorgeous, intense, fluffy, creamy vanilla you can ever smell. That's not only the reason I think it's worth the hype, because as I said, they did not revolutionize a vanilla perfume, but it ticks the boxes on every other level. Price point for starters, it's £110 for 100 ml. Right, not many people might be able to afford that, but for a niche perfume that performs the way this does, you cannot go wrong if you like vanilla. The most important point I want to make is about the performance of this perfume, ticking every single box. If it's sillage you want, if it's longevity you want, if it's power, if it's projection that you want, this does all of those things to 100% and does not give a... I can't believe it. It's one of those, you put it on in the day and the next morning you can still smell it. I can still smell it on my wrist when I wake up. It's like the perfume has these tiny little claws in it and it just clings onto your skin. I would never spray this on my clothes because I can only imagine that it would stay through a couple of washes. So this is these factors all contribute to why this perfume I think has gone viral, because essentially it's a vanilla, but it's the richest, most obnoxiously beautiful vanilla perfume I think I've tried. And I don't wear vanillas, but I have it. So what does that tell you? Compliments out the wazoo. Compliments guaranteed every single time I've worn this. Every single time I've either had a compliment or I've had someone ask me what it is. And I'm going to tell you a quick little story before I move on to the next one, because anyone I talk to about this perfume, I tell them this story. Where I live, my local pub, one of my little havens, has the hugest beer garden ever. It's one of the biggest in London, I believe. And I was sitting at the back of it on one of the times that I was testing it out before I bought it. And one of the staff came out to collect some glasses at the other end of the garden, and she came over. She had followed the scent. She said, I can smell you all the way over there, what is this thing that you're wearing? So conversation ensued. Anyway, is Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana worth the hype? 100%. I'm on that hype train and I'm unashamed about it. Okay, on to the next. Oh my God, it's so good. It really is. Such a joy to wear. And just another side note, this would be such a good one for layering if you really want to vanillify something that you already like. Super cool. The next one I want to talk about is probably a little bit of a lesser known brand, or not as much hyped as Bianco Latte, but still it is being talked about a lot. And I consider this to be, in the niche world, one of the ultra gourmand fragrances. There is a rise in demand for gourmands in the last couple of years, especially among men. And I love that. I can confirm this because I work in the industry. I'm having more and more guys coming in wanting the sweetest, fruitiest things that they can find, especially footballers, by the way. Anyway, the perfume in question is by a lovely brand called Dora, and the perfume is called Jany. It's this one. This lovely frosted bottle, really nice quality perfume, and the sprayers on this brand they're one of those pressurized, gorgeous ones. So let's talk about Jany. Oh my gosh. Is it worth the hype? I'm gonna answer my questions immediately so you know where I'm going. Yes, I think it is. Ultra gourmand in what way, you ask? So this is really pushing the boundary of food. Would I wear this? No. Do I like the smell of it? Yes, but it's not something that I want to smell like. Do I understand the hype around it though? Yes. So Jany is the name of the daughter of the man behind the story of Dora. Dora is the surname of the family. It's his daughter. The vision behind this perfume was his daughter baking an apple pie in a cottage somewhere in France, and this perfume contains all the elements of that pie with extra things added on top. So the main thing you smell when you first smell it is a very realistic puff pastry accord. I have smelled things like this before, but only in one other brand that's very obscure. I might have talked about them before. You might have heard me talk about them before. They're called Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. They have things like this, like cheesecake type smells. This is all of the elements of an apple pie. So you have cinnamon, you have apple, you have the puff pastry, and you have also plum in here as well as vanilla. So it is ultra foodie. It's got a kind of dry, dusty woodiness as well, but the power on this thing is a lot. So this is for people that vanilla's not enough for them if they want sweetness and fluffiness like Bianco Latte. This is stepping even higher into gourmand territory. And it's an X-rated parfum, so it's high concentration, and it just delivers the story exactly. So I love it when a niche perfume has a fully realized story and you smell it and you get it. There's so many niche brands or niche perfumes out there that have this whimsical, magical thing that they talk about, and you smell it and you go, but why? Jany or Jany delivers it perfectly. This one's £168 for 50 ml, so it is pricier than Bianco Latte, but it is an X-ray, and Bianco Latte isn't eau de parfum. Methinks. But anyway, do I think it's worth the hype? Yes, if you want that, I want to smell like an apple pie day, which you might, especially now it's coming to autumn, maybe try out Jany. Okay, next one. The next fragrance on this list, the third, there's only going to be 5, like I said, is another one that is hyped, I think particularly over on TikTok. You may have heard of it, you may have not, but the brand is called Room 1015 and the perfume is called Wavechild. This one only came out, it's quite a recent release. It feels like it was kind of beginning of summer, if my memory serves me correct. I can't remember. Anyway, Room 1015, really cool brand. This one, unfortunately for me, is going to be the damp squib in this video. Do I think it's worth the hype? No, this is a no for me. Everyone has different taste, you have to remember that. So this is, of course, Wavechild. This is a tropical fragrance. The main notes or accords here are watermelon, coconut as well. It has cacao in the base. I shouldn't do this because I'm already going to probably have a picture of it here. Maybe I won't, I don't know. I change my mind every 5 minutes. I'm a Gemini, I can't help it. There's mandarin, lemon and orange. It has a little bit of marine as well. And they say ambergris and amber wood as well. So do I understand why people would like this? Yes. Does it give you holiday vibes? Does it give you a nice tropical watermelon coconut feeling? I dropped my blot up to my legs, here it is. Yeah, the reason for me maybe not thinking this is worth the hype, the price point is good though, £125 for 100 ml. Again, for a niche perfume, that's pretty good. But I think when you have this many fruity notes together, also with an aquatic, it can kind of lean into artificial territory, which is not so bad because you can't really create watermelon without being artificial, I don't think. So, but to me, it gives me like Escada. Do you know the brand Escada? Quite a famous brand in the 90s. They always did this type of fragrance where it was always beachy, easygoing. And I feel like there's so many people that are going crazy about this, but they're not going crazy about Escada. And Escada have already done things like this before. It is pleasant though, just not really for me. And when I smelled it, when so many people were talking about it, I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool, but I smelled it and then I just thought, no, it's a little bit underwhelming. But let's just say this, it doesn't matter what I say, tons of other people like this, so get your nose on it anyway, try it out. It could be for you if you like watermelon-y, aquatic, coconut-y things. It's just one man's opinion. So the next one on this list is, I would say, probably the most hyped or just a hugely requested fragrance. I hear about this fragrance all the time. And I mean, this is probably even more hyped than Bianco Latte. Maybe they're equal, I'm not sure. But this fragrance is called Bois Imperiale, and this is by Parfums. Look at me doing the whole French pronunciation there. 10 points for me. Absolute sensation. Crazy, crazy following. Don't forget, these things are hyped in the niche perfume world. I'm not sure they're hyped, you know, worldwide world, but they're in our community that we're in. They are hyped so much, these perfumes. And do I think this perfume is worth the hype? Yes, I do. Do I want this fragrance? Yes, this one is not mine. I borrowed it. Don't judge. So there's a couple of things surrounding this perfume that I want to talk about before I talk about why I think it deserves the hype. This perfume is made by Quentin Biche, very prolific perfumer, one of the masters. He makes perfumes for many brands, but more notably and more recently, Ganymede by Marc Antoine, can't remember his surname. There are constant comparisons between these two, okay? Ganymede is also another hugely hyped fragrance or hugely popular fragrance. And the question is, do I think they smell the same? I have smelled these fragrances side by side, and I do see the similarity. The way I describe it is, if you do love Ganymede, or if you've tried this one and not that one, Ganymede is a softer version of this, or should I say this is a more vibrant version of Ganymede, because Ganymede is quite muted. There are some similarities, but they are completely not identical. Some people say, I don't think they smell the same at all. You know, it's always subjective. It's always very tricky. Do I think it smells great though? Absolutely. So this is basil in here. This has akigala wood, which I'll talk about in a second. It has vetiver, it has ambroxan, it has tima pepper, and it has patchouli. So let me quickly talk about akigala wood. I hope this video is not going to go on too long, but I have to talk about it because does this smell like akigala wood, or is it akigala wood? I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but I know what it smells like, okay, and that's what's most important here. I remember smelling the first, I think, fragrance that had akigala wood in it when they discovered it, when it was birthed into the perfume world. And it was in a fragrance called Une Amourette by État Libre d'Orange. And État Libre d'Orange are a really quirky brand. They're always very experimental with their perfumes and their releases. I mean, I'm sure akigala wood, they were the first one to use it in their perfume. And also they did one where they created a fragrance purely on a computer out of an algorithm. So they're the type of brand that's gonna grab onto these new captives that come onto the market. And Akigala Wood is fractioned or fractionated. I think it's fractioned patchouli. It's kind of like they split patchouli open. And this is like a derivative of, like a baby sister of patchouli. So Un Amouret smells kind of like patchouli, but a distant cousin. So that's how I know what it smells like. It's peppery. It has kind of oudi facets a little bit, but it's like patchouli if your brain got twisted around a little bit. Question, does this smell like Akigala Wood to me? Absolutely not, but it smells fantastic. To me, it's very hard to describe, but it feels like it's tangy and metallic and slightly green. The basil in it gives it greenery. It's bright and woody with like a sour metallic tang, but at the same time very pleasant. They've managed to create, and I say this all the time, they've managed to create a fragrance that feels so ultimately casual, but also not boring, in my opinion. So I do think it's worth the hype. It is £72 for 100 ml. Another reason why it's flying off the shelves. If you were one of the people that was wearing this when it first came out, good on you. You were unique, you were smelling cool, and you had like a relatively cheap fragrance. Now it's gone wild and everybody wants it, everybody needs it, everybody loves it, including myself, and I will get it one day. So yeah, I've fallen into the trap of this one. I can see why it gets the hype, and I think it deserves it. So on to the last one. The last one on this list is Peach's Revenge by Sarah Baker. Please focus camera, that would be great. Oh, it listened to me. Peach's Revenge by Sarah Baker. The first time I smelled this, I was filled with such joy. I can't even put it into words. You're already gonna know my answer. Is it worth the hype? Yes, we'll start by saying that. So good. So, Sarah Baker, if you don't know who she is, I recently reviewed, not recently, a little while back, I reviewed her perfume Charade. That's my favorite from her brand. This one came along. In my Charade review, I actually said, I don't really like peach in perfumes, but I'm really intrigued to see what Sarah's gonna do with her new upcoming release. And Peach's Revenge has gone crazy, which I'm really happy about because I really like Sarah Baker as a person. I've met her many times, and I'm just so glad that this perfume has become so successful for her. Note list. This is Peach, of course. It's made by Christian Carbonell, or shall we say Chris Maurice. He actually goes by two names. And this is a fruity, gourmand, spicy perfume. The main notes here are peach and guava when you first smell it. And the opening has this yogurt-like peach smoothie, like you just woke up in the morning and made yourself this kind of ice creamy, peachy drink. And that is genius, and that is the surprise of the perfume, because Sarah Baker perfumes always have a surprise in them. It's just so full of joy. It's great. I can smell cinnamon as well. It has got cinnamon, but the cinnamon is so perfectly placed here because cinnamon can really overtake a perfume, and it's not everyone's cup of tea, you know? No one wants to walk around smelling like a cinnamon stick or Christmas. I do though sometimes. But this is great. It has nectarine as well. It has vanilla, it has caramel, it has an amaretto accord, so you have this kind of almondiness. I will say something slightly negative about this perfume, and that is that some of the notes get lost when I wear it on my skin, but that's true of many, many perfumes that I wear. So it is super powerful. It's such a big circumference. It's just like I was gonna say a bouquet of peaches. Hi, I got you a bouquet of peaches. That would actually look kind of cute, I think. But you're just hit with this yogurty, fruity, fun thing that is so playful and joyful and, you know, not so serious. So many perfumes are so serious. I like the serious ones, don't get me wrong. But Peach's Revenge, powerful, wonderful, and does it deserve the hype? Absolutely. It does dry down much, much sweeter on my skin. I've worn it lots of times. It goes, the vanilla really comes out because vanilla comes out on my skin a lot. I don't get much caramel or things like that, but Does it deserve the hype? Absolutely. Really try it out if you can. It's a really great perfume. If you want just a bit of fun, especially summer. Oh, it's great for summer. Bye, by the way, summer. Nice to have met you. See you next year. Anyway, guys, that was my speaking ramblings about 5 super hyped fragrance currently in the year of 2024. I hope you liked this video. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of them, which ones you like. Do you own any of them? Do you hate any of them? Beat me down for one of my opinions. I don't know, I'm used to it, it's fine. And that's it. I'm Archibald Monroe, trying to make the world smell better one video at a time. I'll see you guys soon, goodbye. Mwah.